It's your teacher Mitch, your teacher for today. Before we start the discussion, let us start with a prayer. Please bow your head. Let's pray. Before we move on to our discussion, we will first have an activity. You have 15 seconds to complete the activity. You will find the words that is related in cardiovascular system. Are you ready? If so, let's start. Now, let's see if your answers are correct. Well, you got the correct answer. Now, let's move on to our discussion. Our lesson for today is all about the cardiovascular system. Hi everyone, I'm Michelle M. Escaliente. Our lesson for today is all about the cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system is a part of the circulatory system that circulates blood. The circulatory system also circulates lymphatic system, which circulates lymph. The circulatory system and cardiovascular system are commonly used interchangeably to describe blood circulation. The cardiovascular system consists the heart, blood, and the blood vessels.
The heart is essentially a pump that moves the blood through the vessels. It has two sides, each of which have two chambers. The vessel's function of circulatory system is perhaps transport of inhaled oxygen from the lungs to the body's tissues, and removal the carbon dioxide in the opposite direction to be inhaled. Physically, oxygen poor blood from the body where it turns to the right side of the heart, where this pump to the lungs. In the lungs, blood picks up oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. Oxygen-rich blood then returns to the left side of the heart. This part of system is called the pulmonary circuit. The side of the heart pumps oxygen-rich blood to body's tissues, where unload oxygen and picks up carbon dioxide. The resulting deoxygenated blood again returns to the heart right side. To complete the cycle, this part is systemic circuit. Because the heart left has to pump blood to the entire body, it has thicker muscle than the right side. There are 4 valves, which serve to ensure one-way blood flow to the heart. Oxygen for blood flows from the right atrium to right ventricles to pulmonary arteries, while oxygen-rich blood moves from the left atrium to left ventricles to the heart. The heart is enclosed in a double-wall protective sac called pericardium. The pericardial cavity contains a fluid which serves as a lumbar and allows the heart to contract and relax with minimum friction. The heart wall has 3 layers. The outer layer, epicardium, lines the pericardium cavity. The inner layer, endocardium, lines heart chambers and valves, and its continue with the endotheliums of blood vessels. And thick middle layer, myocardium, in the muscle tissues responsible for the beating of the heart. The contraction of heart muscles is initiated by electrical impulses known as action potentials, unlike skeletal muscles which are stimulated by the nervous system. The heart generates its own electrical stimulation. The impulses start from a small group of cells called the pacemaker cells, which constitute the cardiac conduction system. The primary pacemaker is SA node. It initiates all heartbeats and controls heart rate. Apart of transporting gases, the blood also supplies body's tissues with nutrients and removes metabolic waste. It receives nutrients from the digestive system, while digestive substances are absorbed to the wall of the small intestine into the bloodstream. These substances were then passed through the liver to be screened for toxins before joining the general circulation. In tissues, nutrients are exchanged for wastes. Waste filtered from the blood into kidney and removed in urine.
The blood carries hormones from the endocrine glands from the target organs, implies the important role in the body immune fats. The blood has two main components, a clear extracellular fluid called plasma, and a cell called element includes red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. White blood cells participate in various defense mechanisms against invading organisms, while the platelets responsible for blood clotting, minimizing blood lossing and injury. The blood circulatory system is a closed loop, meaning the blood itself never leaves the vessels. Instead, substances diffuse through the walls of blood vessels to move to and from the surrounding tissue.
Vessels that move blood away from the heart are called arteries, while those that bring blood back to the heart are veins. Arteries usually oxygenated blood, while veins carry the oxygenated blood for the pulmonary arteries and veins. However, the reverse is true. The usual route of blood flow is heart to large arteries. The smaller arteries, then even smaller arteries called arterioles. Then the smallest blood vessels are called capillaries. With the exchange of substances take place, blood can collect into small veins called venules, then to large veins and back to the heart. Arteries and veins is essentially served to conduct blood. Their walls consist of three layers. An outer layer of lost connective tissue serves and anchor the vessels to the surroundings. A middle layer of smoothly smooth muscles allow the vessels to contract, artery regulating blood flow. An inner layer consisted of thin squamous and epithelium separated from outer layer by the basement membrane. In general, larger vessels have more connective tissue and smooth muscles. In addition, arteries have more muscles than veins because they carry blood away from the heart, and most with hand, a higher pressure generated by the beating of the heart.
Now, let's have the summary of our topic. The cardiovascular system is a part of the circulatory system that circulates blood. The cardiovascular system consists the heart, blood, and the blood vessels. The heart is enclosed in the double-walled protective sac called the pericardium. The heart is divided into two atria and two ventricles. Low blood in oxygen and high in carbon dioxide enters the right side of the heart and pumped into the pulmonary circulation. After oxygenation in the lungs and some removal of the carbon dioxide, it turns to the left side of the heart. The left ventricle pumps blood out of the heart to the rest of the body. The pericardial cavity contains a fluid which serves as the lumbar and allows the heart to contract and relax with minimum friction. The heart has three layers. The outer layer, epicardium, lines the epicardium cavity. Second one is the inner layer or endocardium, lines heart chambers and bows, and it continues with the endothelium with blood vessels. And the third one is the thick middle layer, myocardium, is the muscle tissue responsible for the beating of the heart. The primary pacemaker is the SA node or sinoatrial node. It initiates all heartbeats and controls heart rate. The blood also carries hormones from the endocrine glands from the target organs, implies with important role in the body's immune defense. The blood has also two main components: a clear extracellular fluid called plasma, and the cell called formed element, which includes red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. White blood cells participate in various defense mechanisms against invading organisms, while the platelets are responsible for blood clotting, minimizing blood lossing and injury. Vessels, a tube through which the blood circulates in the body. What are the three types of blood vessels? Do you have any idea? Very good. Arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are blood vessels which carry blood from the heart to the body. Veins are the large vessels of the body and act as the blood counterpart of arteries. Capillaries is the exchange of materials between the blood and tissue cells. The pulmonary circuit consists of vessels that carry blood from the right ventricle to the lungs and back to the left atrium. The systematic circuit consists of vessels that lead from the left ventricle to the body cells and back again to the heart. Now we will have an activity. If you really listen to the discussion, you will be able to answer the question immediately. This is 10 question, multiple choice. You choose the correct answer to the question. You have 30 seconds to each question to answer. Are you ready? If so, let's start.